Yo, what's up, guys? This is the Kingwavey podcast, alright? And today, I kind of just woke up this morning and uh, I was going to produce, I was actually going to try to make some beats, but dude, if you're a beat maker, that is so hard and just stressful and long. So I found out beat making was not for me. I'm going to stick with the podcast. Um, what's up? It's been a hot minute. I haven't made a podcast in about 2, 3, maybe a rough 2 weeks. But I've been taking this long off because I've been working on the intro. All right, and it's going to be lit when I can get it on here. I'm currently doing this podcast at me Grammy's house. All right, shout out to Grammy, and I just had a lot. I was taken some time off to really think about what I wanted to do for this channel and the podcast itself, and you gotta take those times out, you see, alright? And that's what we're going to do. So anyways, we took some time off, and we thought about what we could do with it, and we came up with some pretty great things, and by we, I mean me. So yeah, the video, the video for the YouTube, alright, the intro, the video I shot with my phone, which is really crappy, but somehow I thought it looked banger, and shout out to Gabe for who producing that beat, because I thought it went really, well, I like it because it was pretty Christmassy and festive, and Gabe's work, you can find this guy on Gabe, I'll put his link in the description below. But anyways, I talked to him and he was like making these awesome beats, and I'm like, oh, big bets. And I hooked up with him, and Gabe is a good friend from high school, alright, and was like, alright, and it would be cool to work with him. And so he was working on a beat and he had posted it on his story, and I'm like, oh, that's just the sound I'm looking for, this outro video and intro. And I'm like, no way. So I took him up on I slid up and I was like, hey bro, I told him about the idea. He loved it and he said it was cool, and so I got the beat and it was lit, and all I had to do was shoot a video. And that morning I did it because it's such a Christmas beat. I wanted there to be snow in the video because you just can't have a Christmas beat without a Christmas video. Without snow. So, yeah, and it was lit. It was a good time. And I got that and I shot the video. I woke up at around 8 in the morning to do that, and it was freezing out, but you know what? It was worth it. I got a cool video outside, and then I threw in the video I took off my keyboard. I was like, awesome. Shout out to the program I'm using at the moment. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, shit. But, yeah. So the video came out and it was pretty lit. I had a really good time with it, and I had enjoyed making it, and it also brought me to this idea. Gabe, if you're listening, I'm just going to throw it out there now. But I want to start using Gabe's beats because once this Christmas, there's going to be some lit things coming, a lot more better recording supply for the podcast. So I'm going to start going and kind of making little sub beats and intros for just the thing for the podcast. So just keep an eye out for that. It's this Christmas. After Christmas, things are about to get awesome. Okay, that's all I gotta say. And that just leaves me to do those videos, and I think that's really cool. I love doing them. I'm not gonna lie. If I could, I would rather do this than podcasting, but I like the podcast too because the whole story, it's the Kingwavey podcast. Why the fuck would you not want to listen to that? I'm probably gonna have to edit that out. Jesus. Rip. And it really sucks YouTube is being a real itch bay. Like, that's all I gotta say. Like, you know what? Like, it's whatever, I guess. Like, YouTube, you know. But, yeah, YouTube. So, that was the... Oh, it's really cold. You don't understand, guys, what I've... So, I could either record this podcast in my grandma's house, but they're in there and I don't really want to disrupt them. So, I'm outside in the little fish shed, and if any of the family members are listening, it's really cold in here when it gets to winter time. All right, I just want to let you know that. I would never suggest it, but it's pretty cold, and I'm just freezing out here, and I really want to make a lit podcast. And it's enjoyable. But anyways, that's some of my gibberish. I want to go on and talk about. I always before I did this because I always forgot my pad at home and I couldn't have my ideas with me. But I thought I would just do this raw. So this is all raw footage before I get in deeper into this podcast. All right. Uh. So yeah. I don't know how edited it will get, but we'll see. But thanks everyone out there who's listening. Not gonna lie, like we're doing pretty well. I've been doing this for about 4 months. Yeah, 4 months into podcasting, and I've met some really awesome people. Shout out to everyone that's hopped on and been a part of this fun experience. But for sure, and I have some more people coming. Timing right now hasn't really worked out for me. So, like, later on over the break, I might try to get some more caught in. But, hey, shout out. I don't know if I want to say his name, but if you're listening, well, screw it. Anyways, Logan, listen, bro, before break or in between break, if you're listening to this, we're going to make a podcast. It's going to be lit. We've already talked about this in classroom. That's all I'm going to get you for the people who are listening. But yes, all right, we will have more people on the podcast and it will be lit. All right. And yeah. Okay. So, the topic I was going to get into today was family. All right. Family is so important to have. All right. And even if you don't have a whole lot of people in your family, like, cherish the people you have around you is I think what I'm trying to get to, because it's crazy because you never know the circumstances someone could ever be in, and or like it's just wild, and a lot of stuff happen out there, like this life is crazy we're living in. All right, like just the other day ago in Vincent's, all right, we had a shooting. All right, 3 people were involved, 3 shooters, I think. I don't know. I don't really know, but some people got shot, and that shit was scary, alright? And it was wild, alright? And when that was going down, like, I didn't know, and I just learned about this, like, it's been about 5 days ago, but it was crazy. Oh, shit. Anyways, yeah, like, this 3 guys were either, I don't know if 3 guys got shot or 3 guys were doing shooting and 1 guy got shot, but like 3 guys, that's all I know. And it's Vincent's. All right, there is a stabbing on Thunder Hill. If you didn't know about that, okay. Like, what has this town got into, man? Like, it's wild. But yeah, it's a wild town out there. So you kind of you never know what you're going to expect in Vincent's. So that's why I'm saying, like, it's getting wild out here. Okay, and I'm so happy okay, I'm not going to give you where I live, but if you've been to my house and stayed or have hung out, it's pretty lit out there. All right, it's basically a big ass backyard. Okay, and I got a hammock, and people call it, well, my parents call it the hobo shed. I could see why, because when there's bottles and random shit laying everywhere, that's the hobo shed. And yeah, and it's great. and I love my madre. All right, shout out to you, madre, if you're listening. All right, I'll let you know that you're pretty lit. Thanks for birthing me. Yeah, Chris, you're a lit dude too. Shout out to you. I don't know if you listen to the podcast, but if you do, what's up, dude? Actually, on a real note, guys, a lot of people don't know Chris and like know my mom, but like Chris is a pretty lit dude. All right, I like met Chris when I was 13, a little bit younger than that. Yeah, pretty cool dude. All right, and he does a lot of really dope things. Like he's well, for instance, like he works on computers. All right. And builds computers and knows his way around a computer. Like if I need help, I'll be like, Chris, what do I do? And he's like, I got you. And he helps me out. And it's really cool. I've learned a lot from Chris. And he's taught me a lot of cool things about life. And one of them is just to be grateful for what you have around you, because I never thought a dude could do so much for someone. And like, and I'm like, I'm not even related to this dude. All right, but he's just taking up family. Everyone's kind of accepted Chris, and he's kind of made life pretty lit with family. But yeah, and everything's going pretty okay. Not gonna lie, it has its ups and downs, and but we all got it. And sorry, this podcast has really turned sad. Shit, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, and it's just really showed me how much I really care for my family. All right. And it's good to have someone out there, for like someone to come to and talk to. And that's how they all are, and they all have different things about them that I love, and that's why I call them family, because they're all they're all there, and they were all there. Like they were all there from the start. It's a family, chief. Like Jesus, and it's one hell of a time, And out of family, it brought me a lot of stories, a lot of memories, a lot of emotions, feelings. It's family's been there for so much, and we've been there. It's wild, and we're all, yeah, shit. um, but yeah, and I kind of brought me to where you just shouldn't just take them for granted, because they're pretty cool people. Shout out to everyone. Like it's been real with a lot, and I love it. Jesus, this is gonna be an interesting time. It's family. That's all I gotta leave it at that. But anyways, school. I switched schools. I probably said that in my last podcast, but I didn't really get to talk about it a whole lot. But oh yeah, in that podcast, no, that's a previous story we gotta save. But anyways, I'm going to South Knox now, and it's so much better, man. Like shout out to everyone that is in South Knox and is listening to this, because you guys are pretty lit, and like they're so open. Like okay, so like they're really good at like okay, so like you can basically tell them anything, and they're like one of those people where they're totally like they won't tell on other people, like Lincoln. Like at Lincoln, like you can't do that. Like oh no, it's just hard to find people there at Lincoln than it is at South Knox, and I just found that a lot better. And it's pretty cool, and I'm happy they've like accepted me, and it's a great time, And I did a lot. Not gonna lie, like we went on like a decent amount of field trips, and Lincoln we've only went on like maybe a total of 4. All right. It's a cool school, and I dig it. And shout out to everyone there and the people that I talk to on a daily. That like I do this art class, and I have some pretty lit people in there. shout out to everyone up there, man, that are there, because like it's weird because like I'm trying to be myself in there, so I'm like naming off like weird shit, and then I'm learning like, oh, I probably shouldn't say that. I would give an instance, but I don't know if I would do this because I don't know how YouTube would feel about it. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Is if you've heard it before and you're thinking, oh god, that's really screwed up, just know that you heard it yourself in person. You're the only people that have heard me use it. So yeah, but that's in my art class, by the way, and in ceramics, and there's just so many cool people in there. I'm not gonna lie. Like I wore the first time I went in there, I was kind of nervous, and then I met some really cool people, and other kids were in my class that were also in ceramics. So it was like a familiar face every 2 periods, and it was pretty cool because you get to know a lot of people that way, especially if you have a buddy system. And that's one way I found out how to make friends is just to talk to people and not be a social arsehole, you know? So it's pretty, you know, and you gotta live by that way, you know, like you don't have to, but it just makes getting friends a lot easier. And I'm getting off topic. But anyways, I'll never forget when I went to Lincoln, first showed up to South Knox, and I went because I have ceramics like second, it's like the second to last period of the day, and it's a really calm but peaceful thing. But you'll learn about ceramics. So, and we walk in there, and I walk in there, and I'm like, all right. And I meet the teacher, Miss Thomas. Shout out to you if you're listening. You're a pretty lit teacher. I respect you, and you're so cool. Like I've never thought you could have like a super dope teacher. Um, I really enjoy Miss Thomas, you know, and yeah. But anyways, oh sorry, I trailed off. But anyways, Miss Thomas is a pretty lit teacher. Shout out to you and other kids in her class. And I remember, I know the story I'm talking about. Sorry guys, my brain just had a switch. Anyways, um, what we were doing is I walked in there and I met the teacher, and then I sat down, and I didn't know all the guys because I'm not gonna lie, like I don't know, for some reason, if I don't know people and I see like really nice girls, I'm going to talk to the nice girls, and you know, try to make friends with them because I don't know, like for some reason I find girls like a way more easier to talk to than dudes. And it's just a lot more cooler. And don't get me wrong, like I can talk to anyone, but you just it depends how close you are. But anyways, I walk in there and I try to sit on those. So for like a solid month, maybe a month and a half, I sat on the girls' side, and but I would communicate with the boys on the other side. So eventually, like I got to know Taylor, and it was pretty cool. And me and him kind of clicked real well. And shout out to you, Taylor, if you're listening to this, because dude, you're fucking hilarious, dude. You'll crack my shit up in the hallways or every time we just talk. It's always funny, and that's just to be real. And yeah, it's lit. And thanks for everything, you know. Shout out to you. And then we have some other lit people in there, like Jose. Jose, shout out to you, man. You're a lit dude, all right. And everyone, I don't know, it's cool. It just makes you feel really at home there, and you know, it's South Knox is where it's at, and everyone hates. No, not everyone, but like a lot of people just really don't look at art. Like some people do, if that makes sense in a way. I don't know. I really like art. It's really creative. That's why I like doing it. Like right now, I'm doing stone tablets, not stone, like clay tablets, and I'm doing Chinese symbols. I'm super dope about seeing them, and they're about done. But yeah, that's art, and the people in there, and then shout out to all the other people in art. You know, I could go on, but I really don't want to because then that you know just hear this whole podcast about art, and you know why this is supposed to be a little sit down with Alex. But yeah, so that's ceramics class, and oh yeah, and we're about to have a Thanksgiving. All right, I'm about to go home after this, edit this, bake a cheesecake. All right, I'm going to show you commitment. All right, about to bake a cheesecake and then edit this podcast. So either this podcast is going to come out Sunday night or Sunday morning, sometime. If not, I know I'll get it done on Monday night for sure. But yeah, that's what I for sure because I gotta put that intro in, and it's been a super fun experience there. And yeah, the lunch is kind of different. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of sucks. You only get two options, and whew, excuse me, that was grody. I'll have to edit that one out. But yeah, and they only get like two choices, but Miss Thomas comes through with food about every day, so I never like have to really. It's pretty lit, but at the same time, it kind of sucks because you're limited to like what you want. They have a snack bar, you see, and it's cheap, but I don't have a job at the moment, so I'm like, what? No lunch money. I just gotta rely on other stuff. So it'd be like that sometimes, but yeah, and other than the lunch is pretty cool, and then we can walk around during lunch. That's something you couldn't do at Lincoln. Like they did that. They're like, no, you shall sit there and do nothing and conversate. Like we couldn't even leave our tables. If we did, we left our tables to go to the bathroom, and yeah, and that just sucked. Felt like you were in a prison. Not gonna lie, and yeah, but it was pretty cool. So that's another thing. Like we can walk around South Knox, and it's a lot more opener too, and the teachers are a lot more laid back. I feel like, and like okay, so like South Knox, there's a language problem. I mean, not a language problem. At Lincoln, there's like you really couldn't say like curse words during class, but Lincoln, it's pretty cool. I mean, South Knox, like they kind of turn a blind ear sometimes, and that only goes so far if that makes sense. Like you can't just straight up just drop the F word right in class. You can't be like one dude that's like fuck real loud, because like everyone hates that dude. Okay, don't be that dude. Even though it can be funny sometimes, don't be that dude. And they're just a lot laid back, and I do enjoy it. But yeah, and yeah, but I wonder how long we've been recording. Let me check that, because my phone's at 33. It's 7:04. We've been recording for 23 minutes. Okay. Well, we got a lot more time to go. Oh, shit. Okay. Well, we're probably going to go to 40 minutes if we can do it, because I'm not gonna lie, guys, without another person it's so much harder to do this. This is all on improv and just relying on myself just to come up to make a good podcast and ideas. Like I wanted to talk about some things, but I don't know how to do it with other people, and I don't want to sound like a crazy person, and it's wild. And but anyways, yeah. And if you don't like, okay, so like everyone think, okay, so some people think they can start podcasting about things, but if you look at it, everyone who's doing podcasting at the time have other people on there, and they're doing pretty good for themselves. Like, I'll give you an example: Joey Diaz, Fitz, Misfits podcast. All right. Uh, let's see. Logan Paul has one, but I don't really fuck with it. It's just not okay. But everyone. I was thinking of more podcast. Joey Diaz. All right, if you're ever trying to laugh, search that dude up. All right, I'm just saying, dude's the funniest dude. All right, and you'll learn some pretty great things. And everyone, all the other people that I've mentioned, like if you haven't checked out their podcast, like totally suggest for you to go give it a listen to, because dude, they have it on video and see they're doing it out. And the way they're doing it is they have a lot more people on their podcast, so it's a lot more easier to hop on and talk about some real shit for an hour and stuff. And that's what some people are doing. Like later on, I want to do something like that, but I'm trying to expand it. I don't want it to just be like a bunch of interviews, but I like to do new people, if that makes sense, on the podcast because it's pretty cool to meet someone. And I've met a lot of cool people. Like, I'll never forget, I met a dude from not Colorado, Cali, and we made a podcast. And I gotta go back and change it because I just finally seen where he texts back. But yeah, and he was such a lit dude, and it's just crazy because he's from L.A. Like so. It's just crazy, just the people you run into doing this, and it's wild, and you just meet so many new faces and so many new personalities. So it's really gave me a lot to look at too. Um, I really just enjoyed doing it. I started to do this for the hell of it because I was like, why not? And then I started to do it, and I'm like, well, I kind of can do it. I can see myself doing it. It's with other people, and if you heard my podcast and you have a general, I feel like I can do it, and I'm not trying to be cocky or sound any disrespectful about that, but yeah, no, I've been doing this for about 4 months now, and I've been learning. I've learned other stuff too while doing it. Like I just haven't like I've learned how to use editing tools and making. I'm currently I don't know how far I'm gonna go with it. I probably won't do it just because it's difficult, and if I do, it'll be later on when I have better equipment to do it. Um, is to get into beat making, especially lo-fi beats, or I call them lo-fi beats, whatever you want to be like. But yeah, okay, because these beats, I just love the way they sound, and it's hard to get them, and it's like a whole different way you make them. And if you're like a producer and like normal beat making, you just slap some stuff on there, do some key work, and you're pretty good. It's but hey, lofi beats is you just gotta like it's like in the 80s, like 80s 90s old chill like rap beat, but you can study to it and really just do a lot with it. And that video um, I did with Gabe, that wasn't a lo-fi beat, but I'm talking to Gabe, and we might try to come up with one. I might try to throw up some cash if I can, or just give him, because I feel bad because I'm like I need to find someone that can produce a beat like a lo-fi beat for me that sounds super good. And I don't care if like as long as I vibe to it and I bump it, I'll use it on the podcast. So if you know anyone out there that can do them, let me know. If not, me and Gabe are working on it. I feel like me and him can do some dope shit because he can do some cool stuff. And especially with some of the later stuff he came out with, like, I love Gabe. And it's crazy because, oh yeah, I hung out with, shout out Dalton Buckles, or Buckles if you're listening to this. Alright, I love you, bro. Alright. I had a lit time hanging with you that night, and Gabe and everyone out there that was out there. It was a good time. All right, it was the first time I really like ever hung out with anyone from South Knox, and it was a lot of people from South Knox, and it was just a good time, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, but I saw. I thought I heard someone. Ah, shit! I just must be paranoid. My bad. But anyways, yeah, man. But I really enjoyed that night with you, Buckles. It was lit. Uh, and shout out to Aunt Steph, for listeners, for letting me stay. You're pretty lit too. So yeah, but we're not going to go much into that. But buckets, I had a pretty good time, right? And I got to hang out with Gabe and a lot of other people that just showed up, and it was really cool because I just got to I got to get to know. Okay, 1 minute. I know I can say this right. I got to know people, and I was like, oh, okay. And it was a good time, and I really enjoyed it, and it was one of those kind of look back moments. Like, yeah, that's one for the books, and shout out to people that were involved in that. So yeah, I'm going to leave it at that one. But yeah, and mm, Lincoln. All right, for the Lincoln Bros out there that are listening to this, if you are, I miss you guys. All right, shout out to Austin and yeah, yep, shout Michael. All right, yeah, I almost forgot about you, buddy. I miss that goofy ass face. Oh God, Michael's such a character. He cracks my shit up. But yeah, oh yeah. Do, 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 do. About 31 minutes. Lexi and Austin. I already named Austin. Like me and Austin, we're going to record some dope stuff. I did a podcast with him, but it didn't get through because some stuff happened and my email didn't work. But we got that fixed. Unfortunately, we didn't get the podcast, but we're going to be able to shoot another podcast, and then I'm pretty excited. And Austin, shout out to you, bro, if you've been listening to this and if you've made it to the end. Shout out to everyone who's fucking made it to the end of this podcast. All right. And I just want to say that you guys have been lit. I love the support, you know. Shout out to everyone that's encouraged me and have snapped me or slid up on a story and been like, bro, that's pretty fire. And I'm like, thank you, because that's the reason why I do it. Like that gives me so much motivation, but it's hard to do that sometimes. And I just want to say I'm just so happy, and it's been one hell of a Kingwavey podcast. All right, that's all I gotta say. Um, I'm gonna edit this, and I don't know how this is gonna end out. Oh, and we're about to come on 10 minutes. No fucking way. Let's get it. But it's been Alex or Kingwavey, and I'm gonna sign off on always love your family. Have a nice night. Deuces.